Alright, man, it's been told that the unspoken rule of comedy is that there are no rules, meaning that you get to say what you want when you want. You can be just as disrespectful, you could be dark, you could really take it as far as you want to take it because you're a comedian. Now, we live in the social media era where things are hypersensitive, so we have to find a medium balance when it comes to being offensive and when it comes to being sensitive. Well, it looks like we have a situation that may be a teachable moment for everybody. And who would have thought that Sexyy Red, Miss Booty Hole Brown, Miss Raw Dog Queen, Miss If My Coochie Ain't Stank, I Ain't Working Hard Enough would actually be the class act. Now let me break down this situation because Karlous Miller has found himself in hot water. Yes, Karlous Miller, that's a person we thought would never be in heat when it came to social media because he has one less fuck to give. But I gotta say, as an adult, a mature adult, I would like to say, sometimes when you're wrong, you're wrong. It is what it is. Now, I was just having a conversation with somebody the other day, and we were talking about how AI could be used for some good. You gotta get with the times, but it also can be used for bad. Now, in this instance that I'm about to talk about, it seems like the offensive thing that somebody did was make a picture of MLK cozied up in a nightclub with Sexyy Red. Yes, what kind of combo are we having here? Now, MLK is from Edgewood. Maybe he did like a little hot thought pocket back in the day, you hear me? But that's not what his memory is known for, and that's not what the family wants his memory to be known as. Now, the Raw Dog Queen would see this picture and repost it like she does a lot of things on the internet, which gives her traction and just entertainment purposes. And in 2025, MLK has become a mockery of all the jokes, especially when it's MLK Day and all the clubs in Atlanta are trying to get people out to the nightclubs in this frigid Atlanta weather. And it's got to the point where the mockery has grew legs and everybody's starting to do this annually on MLK Day. I just saw a picture of MLK on a flyer doggy styling Rosa Parks. It doesn't get more disrespectful than that, people. Even I had to say, come on, bro. Is this where we really have gotten to as a society? As a man who was raised in the South and as a foundational Black American who has had conversations with his grandmother who grew up in this movement, who witnessed a lot of things and participated in a lot of the things that have came to build this nation and make it safer for Black Americans like myself, why are we doing this? Well, Martin Luther King's youngest daughter, Bernice King, would repost this picture that Sexyy Red posted and say this is intentionally distasteful, dishonoring, deplorable, and disrespectful to my family and my father, who is not here to respond himself because he was assassinated for working for your civil and human rights and to end war and poverty. Please delete. So the internet being the internet, I know they had their popcorn ready because they just knew that the St. Louis ratchet queen would come back ready to say something funny or disrespectful to Bernice King. And that's not what they got, actually. What they got was Sexyy Red being a class act. You know what? Sexyy Red for president might not be a bad campaign. Sexy would respond by saying, "You ain't wrong. Never meant to disrespect your family. My apologies. Just reposted something I saw that I thought was innocent," with the praying hand emoji. Say what you want about Sexyy Red, but I thought that was a classy move. A historical figure within our culture that created this culture said, "Hey, listen, man, I didn't like when you do this. Could you please take it down?" And rather than being disrespectful, rather than letting their ego control them like a lot of us do in 2025, she said, "You know what? I respectfully will do that for you because I didn't mean it with malicious intent." Now, Bernice would actually respond to that with another classy move. She would say, "Thank you for your apology, which I sincerely accept." After Sexyy Red deleted the picture, she said, "Please know that it was not my intention that you being denigrated. I value you as a human being. I hope you understand my concerns about the image. I know that my father has become a bit of a caricature to the world and that his image is often used with no regard to his family, his sacrificial work, or to the tragic, unjust way in which he died, a state-sanctioned assassination. Unfortunately, I regularly challenge the disregard. I earnestly wish that people would imagine what it would feel like to see their deceased, murdered father repurposed for party flyers, unjust legislation, etc. All the best to you, young lady." And come on, man, how could you read that and not understand where she's coming from? MLK was not only shot in Memphis, and he's been shot before, plenty of assassination attempts, but he didn't die. The man went to the hospital and was then murdered by suffocation, where then years and years later, it was proven that the FBI and the United States of America were the ones behind the assassination attempt. Imagine somebody being that important and that dangerous to the right cause, now being put on a flyer, banging Rosa Parks and wearing a high top fade with moissanite earrings and necklaces. After seeing such a classy move, Karlous Miller decided that he wanted to interrupt the party with comedy relief that wasn't such a relief. You see, the energy that the folks wanted to give to Sexyy Red, they actually had to give it to Karlous Miller, because Karlous Miller would get online and reply to that interaction by AIing his own picture of Karlous Miller with his hand around MLK, saying, "Don't let Bernice see this one." And I actually saw this before it even went viral, and I already knew it was a bad move and they were gonna kill him. Because Karlous Miller, why are you antagonizing somebody who hasn't done anything to deserve this type of agony? And I get it, you're a comedian and we respect what you do, but you are a man first. And your grandma, we know, raised you to be a respectful young man. And I'm only saying that because I know that you're from Mississippi, which means you's from them country backwoods, my boy. And you know your grandma did not raise you to be doing shit like this. Now, Black Twitter wasn't having it, man. Let's run through some of the tweets that they said about Karlous Miller. They said, "Karlous Miller lame as hell for reposting an AI-generated pic of him and MLK when his daughter just asked Sexyy Red to delete hers." Then the caption was even cornier. "You think old niggas would set a better example." Yes, 41 is old on Black Twitter. Another person would say Karlous Miller be hiding his retardedness behind that I'm the black and hillbilly country bumpkin shit, as if cuz ain't 40 years old. Nobody cared that you from Mississippi, nigga. Being a country nigga doesn't excuse stupidity. Another one said, "Glad Karlous Miller getting cooked for that dumb shit. None of his industry friends co-signing that. They know better." People are miserable because they're rightfully calling Karlous Miller corny for posting that for no other reason than to antagonize Dr. King's daughter. Interesting train of thought. Now, that was a response to somebody who said, "What is wrong with this? It's just a joke, and it's not like he's throwing up gang signs or popping perks. Y'all just want people to be miserable just like y'all." No, sir. We want people to be respectful to iconic figures. Sometimes everything ain't a goddamn joke, and I understand that. You see, people like him always try to make a false equivalency, talking about popping perks and throwing up gang signs. What the hell does that have to do with a distasteful joke? Somebody find that man's page and slap the shit out of him. Now, of course, there were people who wanted to cancel Karlous Miller, and for me, I just don't agree with the cancelization of people, at least in this instance. I think everything is a teachable moment in this situation. I think Karlous Miller was just trying to do some comedy relief and having a little fun on the internet, but he didn't think it all the way through. And sometimes we have to let people make their mistakes, bump their heads, and learn from it. You see, Karlous Miller might be the guy who grandmama used to say, hey, you saw them fools do that, and then you took your ass right down the street to do it too. Sometimes you gotta touch a fire to see that it burns, rather than see somebody else do it. So, Karlous Miller, I'm sure, once he puts his pride to the side, maybe we'll address this situation, maybe he won't. But I'm hoping that he would understand, being from Mississippi, that you gotta be respectful to some people. You can't just have your comedy relief and joke about everything on anybody. What do y'all think, man? Do y'all think that Karlous Miller should be excused because he is a comedian? Or do you think that, hey, nobody is bigger than the program? Y'all let me know down below in the comments. And how do y'all think Sexyy Red handled the situation? Do y'all respect it? Let me know down below in the comment section, man. Like, share, subscribe, comment, hit that notification bell. And we out, baby. Boom.
MLK LaFlare.
It's him.